Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort. Code drip. Snort, snort. I got the drip.
Well, let's turn from one fight that could happen to a guy I think you probably also want to fight, and that's Darkside Phil. If that fight came up, would you fight Phil?
No, I don't want to fight Phil. I don't.
That was not the question.
Okay.
He said, "Would you?" Not do you?
Because I don't hate Jeremy either. He's really pissed me off before. I used to hate him, don't anymore. But I'd like to be in a ring with him. That would be entertaining. Phil is like my show. It's like 90 Day Fiance. It's like, Phil is my 600-pound life. He's my reality TV show. So I don't hate him. He's like a science experiment that you just can't stop staring at.
That seems to be the common theme with pretty much all his viewers and all detractors, is that it's such a train wreck you just can't stop watching.
He has no self-awareness. He has no self-awareness whatsoever.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that. Jeez.
So if the opportunity arose and let's just say Keem was to come to you and be like, hey, listen, I got 50 grand a piece for you. You guys fight. What do you say?
Yeah. For 50 grand, sure.
well, DSPs turned down 50 grand before from Keem, so
I have a conspiracy theory as to why.
Oh, tell us more.
Do tell.
I think everything with him and WWE champions is true. I think everyone here believes that as well. If he got a money drop like 50 grand and he started begging again on his streams, that would just be the final nail in the coffin. Mm-hmm. Whereas if he kind of piecemeals the money in bags, he could do the whole I'm in dire straits thing, even though he just spent, someone thinks, like almost $3 grand on WWE. So I think beyond the fact that Phil is socially inept and can't work with other people, which is a big part of it too, if he got a big bag of money, it would be burned through real quick. Yeah, publicly. If he got a big bag of money like that and it was burned through, he couldn't cry poor anymore.
That's a good point.
I think you're 100% right. And the funniest part about it is I think he wants the money so bad, but if he takes it, he'll get caught up, like you said, because it'll be gone in a heartbeat. Because he can't help but to spend it on that.
Or the government would want it, because he probably owes
that.
That's a good point too.
He basically admitted to tax fraud on our show. So just kind of weird.
I think that everything you said, Rich, makes a ton of sense, except for the fact that I don't think he thinks that far ahead. Because
not that smart.
when you ask him, you say, what does the next 6 months look like for you? Would you have a business plan? He goes, nope. Like, he's not thinking about he's not thinking about the consequences of this. What does it make? What does it look like if somebody hands me 50 grand to do a show or a fight or whatever it may be? I don't know. I just don't think he thinks that far in advance. And I think everything you said sounds way too logical. And it's a good theory, but just based off of the track record, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
with him, yeah, it doesn't, because you saw, it was amazing watching like that. I ended up getting less sleep because I saw you on. So I'm like, oh shit, I have to watch this. And you saw the Phil brain filter where you type one thing and he literally sees something else. Like, what are you, like, he did that to me with an email. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I showed it on my stream. Like, how did you get that from that? And it's just like, it's like frustrating and baffling. It's like, how do you, like, he literally thought Critical was saying, wow, he was so brave for streaming after he masturbated. Like, no, dude, he wasn't. He was being sarcastic. Like, how did you even take it as that?
It's one of them things. It doesn't happen immediately too with Phil. It takes a minute for it to like transmute to this other thing. Because at first he said exactly what Craig said on his stream. And then as his opinion changed, he like morphed reality. And I always call it, he lied to himself so much until he convinced himself it was true. And now it's his reality. You know,
people living with delusions often do that to them in their head. They're reliving something. And every time they relive it, they alter it slightly to favor themselves. Yeah. And you could see this with Phil very clearly, how much that he will, it's because he's on a stage trying to convince his audience that he's the victim. Like, I need these people to believe that I'm the victim. So I'm going to keep retelling the story. And eventually I'm going to get to this point where I am the victim. I am the victim now. I truly believe I'm the victim. I really think Phil believes that we wanted to shit on him in our interview.
Right
now. Like thinking 2 months ago, like he was telling us how fair it was and how he was totally fine with it and that it was a great interview and he enjoyed it and was looking forward to coming on again. Like, how did you go from that to this? Oh, right. Because you couldn't victimize yourself to beg for more money from the audience.
I think,
dude,
he was hoping. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead, Rich. It's you, baby.
He was hoping that this, when he came on SideScrollers, because he was a fan of Craig, that from Screw Attack, that it was going to be like a softball interview, like you were going to ask him just about games and stuff like that. No, Phil, they're going to, whatever your brand is, just like you brought up the cucumber shit before, that's part of my brand. You're to interview someone, you're going to ask about the stuff that's relevant with them. 95% of Phil's brand is begging. You're going to ask about that. You can't just skirt over it,
Well, the first 5 minutes of the show, he was talking about how he wanted that interview to be that one that would clear all of the confusion up. All of the detractors can go watch that interview and have it all figured out and everything's going to be squared away. And it's like, dude, he just dug a deeper hole. And the detractors were all sitting out there just laughing. They're like, see, we told you, watch Adam Craig in real time turn into one of us. I mean, that's what it felt like. Because I was just like, I'm not taking that. Dude.
It's funny. He literally turned a ladder into a shovel.
Right.
Literally.
Well, I think the thing for me is, when I reached out to Phil, it was meant to be just like a, appearance, just be on the show. We'll, talk about some gaming stuff, whatever. And then obviously it became larger than that. And then it was like, well, let's have this interview. And let's, what I told him was, let's address the elephant in the room. And he was like, what elephant are you talking about? And that should have been my first like, aha moment of like, right. And
red flag, yeah.
So we went in and did the interview, and I think in Phil's defense, I think what Phil is upset about, it's not the interview itself. It's the day after where we decompressed, because that's the one thing that
I decompressed.
Well,
because
we all did. We all did.
True, but we weren't able to all talk together, right?
Correct. And that's the one thing that Phil, in his brain, he sees one broadcast to another, and he thinks that we spoke to each other in between then about what happened. And that's not the case. We saved it for the next day. And so we did the interview, and then we actually talked about the interview the following day, which I think is a very natural thing to do.
It was a 5-hour interview.
Right.
There's always an after show. Like, there's shows that do after shows all the time.
We have one on Patreon every single day. We do a Patreon post show every single day, but it's different because Adam had to leave. He was getting ready to eat, and it gave us an opportunity to kind of dig into it. And he felt that we dug into him too hard, and he wasn't there to defend himself. And I don't think that that's very reasonable at all. He's like, well, Barbara Walters wouldn't do that. Why would Barbara Walters would have never done that? First off,
did he say that?
It was something. Well, I don't know if he said Barbara Walters, but it was something along those lines. But
Walter Cronkite would have never done that to him,
right? And it's like Barbara Walters didn't have a daily podcast to talk about things, and like,
right.
And Barbara Walters didn't have on people who masturbated on the internet either.
That is a very valid point.
Well, he's upset about the next day, and he felt that we dug into him too far. And as I showed in the emails, I was very transparent with him. Hey, man, we're frustrated. We came into this, and And the thing about talking about it, giving us a day to think about what happened, I think that made us more angsty going into that next day, to talk about, be like, man, that was really frustrating. And I was nothing but transparent with Phil the entire time. And it shows in the emails. And the thing that drove me most crazy was the fact that I showed these emails, and I showed him talking, then I showed the emails that were sent. And I don't know how, it just goes back to the idea of I don't know how you can tell Phil, look, this is a Sharpie marker. And he's like, no, actually it's a blue crayon, and
you can't convince him otherwise. He sees the blue crayon, and there is nothing. God himself could come down and say, Phil, that is a black Sharpie. Be like, no, it's not.
Right. And what's fascinating is that was meant to be a one-time thing. And I have accepted the idea that SideScrollers will be connected to DSP for a good while. And I think that's, it's not a bad thing at all. Like I said, I think a lot of the detractors, not all of them, but I think a lot of the detractors and people who watch Phil on a day-to-day basis, they watch him with good intentions, and that they honestly, like I said, not all, most. I think most want Phil to succeed, but they can't stop watching him because he just keeps getting in his own way. And had I known we'd have 2 months of content out of this one interview, I mean, Jesus Lord.
Yeah,
I mean,
welcome to Phil. I could here is the thing that people, because Phil's like, oh, Rich, you're riding my coattails. Look, I always get content from Phil because Phil just trips over himself multiple times a day on a daily basis. But if Phil left the internet, I would be okay. But he just is just fascinating. Like I said, he's like a show to everybody. I don't want to see Phil fail, but I kind of am indifferent either way. Maybe that sounds fucked up, but he's just.
Well, I said this yesterday. If the drama were to disappear, DSP would disappear.
Yes.
He would go into a small little corner of the internet and continue to beg, and the people who follow him now and actually still support him somehow would stay there with him, sure. But on the minds of the average internet, is probably not on the mind of the average internet user or internet enjoyer, I should say. But in certain circles, everyone knows about DSP. I mean, I didn't know about him until Craig told me we were going to interview him, but I still kind of wish I didn't.
And it's because of the shit show. And if the shit show goes away, and here's the thing, even if Phil wakes up tomorrow and he's self-aware, he's not funny. So the audience that tunes in for his humor that he does without even realizing it, they would go away because Phil would he would have his yuck jokes, and people would be like, yeah, this is boring. Now you're self-aware. Goodbye. So he still makes a living because the fact that he lacks self-awareness.
The craziest part about the whole thing was Adam and Craig told him their opinions before we cut that interview. Everything we said the next day, they said to his face. Okay. The only people that didn't was me and Blabs, but that's because we were busy working, doing other things. Mm-hmm. Okay. And now, of course, we're going to say our opinion, but our opinion wasn't so different than Adam and Craig's opinion. So I
think I said two things. That's
exactly. What did we say that was so offensive the next day? Nothing. That wasn't already said.
To be fair, I was rather sharp because I had lost all my patience through the 5 hours. By the end of that 5 hours, I was so exhausted and fucking hungry that if I didn't get some food in me, I would have. I don't know. I probably would have snapped at him because I was just getting fed up with being fed lies. I don't have patience for that shit. I'm almost 40. I've dealt with fucking liars in my life, and I don't have fucking time for that shit. Nah. If you're gonna fucking bullshit me, get the fuck out of my life. I don't need to deal with that shit. And this is a professional liar here. All I was doing I was being polite to him.
Right.
Me and Craig gave him every opportunity there is in existence to clear his name, like he said he wanted to do. But all he was really trying to do is just convince the world that he is correct, that his lies, that his delusional world that he has built up around himself with that has a barrier between him and the detractors. This is the little bubble that you must believe. That's the only thing that matters to him. That's all he wanted, was to convince us to believe him. And I was like, I wasn't having it.
He wanted this interview that he had with SideScrollers to be an advertisement, not an interview.
That's correct.
Well, I heard that continuously. Well, people were like, why would all he's looking to do is grift off your audience and expose your audience to what he does, so they'll come over and give him money. I heard that from, I don't know, probably a dozen times from different people. And they're like, why are you doing this? Right. And so I think that may have been an objective, but at the end of the day, once again, isn't that ultimately like why you appear on shows, right? Is to talk about things and expand your audience and cross promote.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it from that perspective, right? By the way, I do have a poll up in the chat, and this is for everybody, because like I said, I thought the majority a majority of people want what's best for Phil.
Wow.
I am wrong. It says, detractors, do you ultimately, in your heart of hearts, want to see DSP succeed? Right now, 2 out of 3 people, 67% say no.
I'm indifferent. I just want to see what happens. I don't wish him ill will, but it's just whatever.
I voted yes. I voted yes because I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to live a happy, successful life. I don't want anyone else to be delusional and lie about themselves to themselves. I want everyone to be able to see reality and level up in life. I think that should be a general feeling amongst humans, and we have lost that shit. It is all about me, everything.
That's very true.
Everything's it's just a selfish world. No one gives a shit about help. I don't want to say no one, because there's some real ones out there that will help anyone that needs it. Okay, and we're seeing it, right? And so I don't want to lose. I'm not losing faith in humanity, but I do feel that society is built, advertisements is built, the algorithms are built to help you spend money on yourself and reinvest in yourself, which isn't necessarily bad. I'm not saying being everyone should be selfish a little bit. You got to be a little selfish to take care of your health. You got to be like, I'm selfish. I want to take care of me first. Like, you got to clean your house before you judge others, right? That's what Jordan Peterson is saying. People don't like him, but I don't care. He's right. You should have your own shit in order before you start judging others, right? Yeah. It's like, you got to be a little bit of selfish for that. But then
it doesn't matter who said it. That's a valid point.
Exactly.
The general thought in the chat is like, yeah, you're right, Adam, except for Phil.
Right? I think that people have reached a limit with Phil, but when we were talking,
give too much.
When we were talking earlier about him, when you go on other shows to cross promote and all that, I think there's an element of that. See, and what Rich said earlier, he wants to go on and shape his reality. So if he gets in front of eyes, right, the more eyes he gets in front of and get to believe just 10% of what he's saying, 10% here, 10% there, 10% there. Now he's shaping his own reality to these people. And if he can start it off as these people who said this are liars, and that's the perspective that people are first introduced to him as, now he's shaping it as a positive thing for him in his mind. I think that's why he did this.
Well, I think that this is a conversation that will continue till the giant atom bomb is dropped, and then we all are nuked, because it's such a fascinating thing. And
he definitely. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Continue, Rich. Go ahead.
He definitely can use therapy, but if someone said for him to get he's like, I can't. I work too much. I'm like, Phil, you can't get the therapy like I couldn't get to the gym. Like, don't stop. You can get there. You know, it's just that you don't want to have that mirror put in front of you. And I understand, but you need it, dude. I'm
going to read a definition real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if I should read the definition before I tell you guys what it is. I am.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell me who this is. False beliefs about one's power, wealth, intelligence, or other grand traits that are not true. People who experience this have a high self-esteem and insist on their importance, despite proof that says otherwise. It can be the result of a psychosis or a break from reality, which is often a defining symptom of severe mental health disorders like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. It can also be a quest in divinity, original sin too. That is the definition of delusions of grandeur.
Oh,
You mean grandeur?
You mean grandeur?
Grand
I don't.
old
Yeah,
door.
I don't think Phil was
Grandeur.
saying that to joke. I think he really.
I think so too. I think he
'cause
really means.
Like he says Twitter. I don't know why he says it like that, but he says Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter.
I'm telling you, he thought that's how you say grandeur.
Well,
no, but
because I watched his.
But
stream.
regardless, though, the definition is exactly what I was thinking. He really believes he's got this high sense of self that he is above reproach.
Well,
Like you can't test him. You can't question his worldview. It is truth. And then if you question it, that fight or flight will trigger in him. And I said it during the show to his face. I said, I'm shocked you're still here. I'm honestly props that you're still here dealing with this pushback right now, because he rolled with it. And I was giving him props the next day when we were shitting on him. Right. I was actually giving him props. I'm like, I can't believe he stayed through all of me pushing back on him, because I didn't stop. I didn't, go light on him. I was freaking press X. I was slamming the X button for doubt. Shout out to the meme makers out there.
So isn't this the perfect example? He pronounces the word a certain way, and it's right regardless if the rest of the world says he's wrong. The entirety of the internet, everybody, his teachers, everybody who's ever taught him in life, every TV show that's ever said grandeur, every movie, they're all wrong. But
That's
Phil
the
is
beauty.
right.
That's the beauty of
Yes.
what he's actually saying is
Yes.
pronounced wrong. It's actually that's the false belief that
Yes.
you've got. That's your false belief of intelligence.
Yes.
You're
The perfect example.
it's hilarious.
Literally.
Hilarious.
I'll tell you what, if everybody wouldn't mind while you guys are watching, doing us a favor, hit the thumbs up button while you guys are watching. Right now we have 269 thumbs up. If we get to 500, Rich said he'll be blowing bubbles for everybody, which will be really
Out of a cucumber.
Yes. Hollow out the cucumber and blown bubbles out of it.
He's gonna
he
suck a
hollowed it
hole
out with
through
his
it,
tongue.
and then-
He did it with his tongue. He told us before the show. I know I said I wasn't going to tell everybody, but I'm excited.
And if you guys are new to the show, we do the show every single Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Hit the subscribe button. We'd love for you guys to join us. Coming up today at 1 o'clock in about an hour from now, I'm going to continue my Mario Funathon. I'm in the process of playing through every mainline Mario game. We're on Mario 3, moving on to Mario World. I'd love for you guys to join us in about an hour from now once this show is complete. All right. I'll tell you, let's get to some super chats because we got a lot of folks coming in, and there's a lot of really good talking points from here. So let's go and read these off. Dag says, hey, everyone, will you be discussing DSP? No.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Who's that?
Vanguard says, meaningful content, Rich level 42, Phil level 1. What do you think of that meme, Rich? I think that's one of the best metaphors ever for that. I think that you can talk about Keemstar all you want, but I think he nailed that metaphor.
Yeah, because Phil is his own worst enemy. Like I said, he puts out the spike strip in front of his car, purposely drives over it, and then complains about his tires being flat. He just stays in the same. I wanted to give him a goddamn computer just to get it out of my house, because selling desktop computers is a pain in the ass. I could just be like, hey, Phil, pay shipping, I'll send it to you. He made a big fucking conspiracy theory about it, and he didn't end up getting the computer. He is the most self-sabotaging person I have ever met.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Okay,
Of course, it would have to be something like that, because nobody would ever help him, because it would have to be something bigger than that for him.
No, explain this, Rich. What was going on there?
So I'm literally still looking at the computer right now. Eventually, I have another friend up in Canada I'm going to give it to. I have a desktop computer addiction. So I have another one over here that I'm not using, and I was like, you know what? I don't like selling desktop computers because shipping is always risky. And Phil was bitching about his computer. Like I said, I don't dislike Phil. I'm like, hey, Phil, you pay shipping, I'll send you this computer. It has a Ryzen Threadripper in it. it's first gen, but it's a big step up for what he has. He made this whole conspiracy that I was trying to do it for a spectacle. I'm like, dude, I just don't fucking care.
Even if you are.
Wow.
Who cares? It's a free fucking computer, dude.
He was probably afraid you'd leak his address or something.
Like, anytime anybody gives something away for free online as a giveaway, they're giving it away for views. I'm not saying that's
I have
what
a
you
theory.
were doing, but that's what people fucking do. Just take the goddamn computer and shut your
I have a
fucking
theory.
mouth.
I think I know his theory. Say it though. I'm curious.
Okay. DSP probably believes that you put some sort of malware on there just so you can get the information of WWE champions. You know it. He was gonna get that. So I don't know, the phone emulator, BlueStacks, whatever, and play WWE, and there was going to be some sort of screen capture device that you installed on it, so you can find out that he was up in the rafters or down from the rafters, or what was it, Craig? I don't remember.
Masturbating in the rafters.
You do review.
That's
tech,
it. Thank you.
so
Yeah, I knew it.
You would know how to do that, right?
Got him. Admit it. Admit it live right now.
What? Yes, that's exactly what I was.
I knew it.
You were bugging.
What his detractors and I put together is that he just wanted the money, and he would have gotten a computer, but he would have gotten something for like $500. He would have gotten 2,000 from begging for it, and he would have pocketed the rest. That's probably that's what a lot of people think, and yeah, I kind of agree.
You're 100% right. He'd have bought a refurbished computer set. He bought one brand new for $3,000 and then kept the rest, spent it on WWE.
He doesn't get his computer's running his streams fine. I'm like, Phil, how about you update your computer now to Windows 10? Put an SSD in there. Ta-da! He would light himself on fire doing it, though, because he's an idiot.
Well, and like I said, Phil could never accept that somebody would just want to help him, because it would have to be larger than that. Because
we already gave him that chance.
Yeah,
and so he proved that.
It would have to be some grand thing, like you said. It would just have to be, because it's ego's too big.
All right, I'll be honest. I'm DSP'd out, guys. I'm DSP'd out. I don't want to talk about that fucking guy anymore. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah.
I want to know. I know we have some super chats, but Rich, like, I want to know, like, what do you like to do?
Go. I got the drip, 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 go. It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.